Hey YouTube, it's Enigma here. So this is our eighth session in Road to Cat Lrdi series. So this is, I will say, a moderate difficulty to higher difficulty set. It's not that difficult if you are able to, like just follow along, draw a clean table and able to manage everything specifically clearly. As usual, I will provide the PDF of the session in the comment section below so you can access through it. So let's get cracking. So this set is Saral once wanted to test his students in the subject that they had learned from him. So he conducted 5 tests, one each on QA, LR, DI, CR, and RC. 5 students, Gautam, Ashish, Nitish, Munish, and Tarun, participated in all the tests. The student getting the highest marks in any test was awarded 5 points. The student getting the second highest marks in any test was awarded 4 points. The student getting the third highest marks in any test was awarded 3 points, and so on. Okay, so this is specifically the breakup. Following is known the outcome of the various tests. So, like immediately, I can immediately see that there has to be a 5 by 5 breakup. QA, LR, DI, CR, and RC. These are the subjects, and specifically, we have 5 students that are going to participate, and maybe a specific column for total if the question has allowed us. So, and also, like one of the important key crux of information that the question is saying that if the student is getting first rank, then the award will be 5, like points awarded. If it's second, that is 4, and is third, that is 3, and so on, which means like that would be the breakup of the set. After that, once I've done this, I will try to read the conditions first before reading any sort of before making any table. Gotham scored highest point in all the tests put together, so we need a total. Definitely we need a total, so there will be a 5 by 6 grid that we have to make. Then we have who scored third highest marks in LR test. So this is a definite answer. How many points did Gotham score in all tests put together? So this is also a definite answer, or it can be a possibility as well, but the answer would be definite. Maybe. How many tests did Gotham score less than 5 points and greater than 4 point? Definite answer. In how many tests Muni scored third highest mark? Definite answer. So we are definitely sure that we might not face any sort of possibility in the future, but still I would like to keep that gateway open so that at the end, if I have a possibility, I don't get haphazardly mixed. If I would at the examination, I would only make one table, but I would still have some space for another possibility as well. So let's look at the table that I've drawn. This is the probable table that you will be able to draw at the end of the conclusion. Now we will go with one by one according to the points. Gotham scored highest point in all the tests put together, which means this value is the highest. Munish scored more points in Tarun in all the tests put together. So the value of total of Munish is higher than Tarun. Then we have third point. Each student scored highest marks in at least one test and scored at least marks in at least one test, which means every student would at least get 1 5 and 1 1 in every you can say their scores, which means at least uh, like one student among you can say Gotham would get at least 1 in 5, Ashish would also get at least 1 in 5, Nitish would get at least 1 in 5, Munish would get at least 1 in 5, and Tarun would get at least 1 in 5 in every subject. It can be more than one, and but there has to be a minimum value of 1 in 5 in every slots that we have shown here. Then we have Ashish did not get the same points in any two tests, which means Ashish has to be unique in every test, which means we are giving a leeway that this value is 1 2 3 4 5 and the total becomes a 15. Okay, so this is being given to us. Then we have Tarun was not the one who scored highest marks in CR test. So Tarun is not the one who scored highest in CR test. So this value cannot be a 5. Then we have in DI test, Muni scored highest marks. Okay, so in DI, Muni scored the highest marks. 5 is already done. And in RC test, he scored the least marks. So in RC, he scored the least marks. So this is value is 1. So minimum is already taken care of. Minimum is already taken care of. There still be a more than, like 5 can come here and 1 can come here. But minimum is already been taken care of. Then we have Gautam and Ashish secured consecutive points in all texts except CR test, in which Ashish scored the least marks, which means these all are consecutive, but this value is not consecutive. This is not consecutive, and in Ashish, he is scoring least marks, which means this value is 1, which means definitely this value cannot be a 2 because that would make this value a consecutive score. Okay, so this is done, and 1 is already done, taken care of, so we will cut the 1. Then we have Tarun scored a total of 13 points in all the tests put together. Tarun is 13 and scored fourth highest both in DI and RC. Fourth highest corresponds to the marks of 2, and he is scoring 2 in DI and RC. So this value is 2 and this value is 2. This is specifically done. Okay. Now I'm looking at the total of 13. Now 4 are already done, so we have to make a total of 9. 9 is the left candidate, and we already know that 5 and 1 has to be there. So which means from that 9, 5 and 1 is taken care of, so 6 is taken care of. 9 minus 6 is 3, so the remaining value would be, so which means the value that would be filled in the space would be 153. 153 would make 5 3 8 and 8 and 9, and 9 and 4 would make the total of 13. So the value that would be filled in QA, LR and CR has to be 153 in some order. Now we have ninth. Nitish scored second highest marks in LR test. So Nitish scored a second highest marks in LR test, which means this value has to be a 4. And Gautam scored the highest in RC. Gautam scored the highest in RC, that's 5. And since Ashish and Gautam are consecutive, score has to be consecutive, this value has to be a 4. So 4 is already being cut and 5 is already being cut. Okay, so this is specifically fine. Now we have 10th. No two student has scored the same marks in any particular test. Okay, which means the column has to be unique. Which means like for what this statement says, that if Gautam is scoring a marks of 5 in QA, then no other candidate, which means Ashish, Nitish, Munish and Tarun cannot score a score of 5 in QA. The value that's being put it into the you can say column has to be unique, which means column would be coming for 1 2 3 4 5, and based on that condition we can definitely conclude that in RC this space has to be 3, because that's the only space that's being left. So this is specifically fine. Now where do we go on to it? I would first like to see among those candidates which have the total score filled, because that's the possible direction that I'm taking. And among those two, I would first check Tarun first, because not only I have the total score filled, but I have also a constraint of 5 here, because there's only 3 values that's going to be put in CR of 5 CR of Tarun, that's going to be 153. Since we know that 5 cannot be there, and since we know that 1 cannot be here because 1 has already been come in CR, and the value that's going to be coming in CR has to be unique, and since 1 and 5 cannot be there, which means this value has to be a 3. So if this value is a 3, we'll cut 3 here, and this value can be a 1 and 5, or it can be a 5 and 1, considering the both the possibilities that's being going to be made. Okay, so this is specifically fine. We are done with Tarun itself. Okay, now I would like to check the value of Ashish first. So let's look at the value of Ashish. Can I put the value 5 here? No, I cannot put the value of 5 here. If I put 5 here, then 4 comes here, and 5 cannot be here anyway because 5 is already been done here. If I put the value of 5 here, for it to be consecutive, 4 has to come here, but 4 would be repeated, so 5 cannot come in both these spaces. So 5 has to be here and 4 has to be here. So 5 is already been taken care of. Now I want to put the value of 2 and 3. 2 cannot be here because 2 is already here, which means 2 has to be here and 3 has to be here. Corresponding to it, I know for one thing for sure that in the column of Gautam, we have to put a minimum value of 1. 1 has to come. Now where would that 1 would be? This value cannot be 1 because 1 has already been taken care of. This value cannot be 1, but because this would not be consecutive. So the only space left for 1 is this. So this is taken care of. Now let's check for the 3. So in order to be 3 to be consecutive, this value can either be 4 or 2, but this value cannot be 2 because 2 is already here. So this value has to be a value of 4 itself. So that's specifically fine for us. By looking at the criteria, we will put one value in DI here. So 1 2 3 4 5, that's specifically clear. Now also in LR also, if you take 1 is already been filled. So if this value is 1, so this value cannot be a 1, so this value becomes a 5. And in QA, if we have 4 or 5 and already been taken care of, so this value cannot be a 5, this value has to be 1. So this is the total score of this candidate. Now in LR, I can see 1 2 4 and 5 are filled, so the only remaining candidate is 3, so I will put 3 there. Now let's see. In QA, this value can be a 2 and 3, or this value can be a 3 and 2. Both possibilities are considered. That's specifically fine. Now I would like to see and check the value of Nitish. Now 5 has to come here, and there is no spot left for 5 and except this spot, so 5 is already taken care of. So 1 5 3 are done, so we have to put 2 and 4 here. 2 cannot come at the position of Gautam because that has to be consecutive. That cannot be consecutive, so this value has to be a 4 and this value has to be a 2. So that makes the score of Gautam as 4 and 4 8 8 and 12 12 and 13 and 5. This value becomes an 18. And now let's look around the 13 possibility, like the 13 total score. Because Munish has to be greater than 13, the current score of Munish is 5 and 3 8 8 into 10 10 and 11. The current score is, if we put 2 here, that makes a 13. 13 is not greater than 13, so which means this value has to be a 3. That makes this makes a value of 14, and this value has to be a 2, which means make this total score is 5 and 3 8 8 1 9 and 4 13 and 2 15. So this is the possibly the correct you can say answer to this solution. We don't need to draw a second table. By one table itself, we are able to draw to all the conclusions. Now look at the questions. Who scored third highest marks in LR test? So LR third highest marks, 3 is scored by Munish. So this is the answer by Munish. Then we have how many points did Gautam scores in all tests put together? So the total of Gautam is 18. Then we have how many tests did Gautam score less than 5 points and greater than 1 points? Less than 5 and greater than 1. It's only 3 scores. 4, 4, 4. That's the total value. Then we have in how many tests Munish scored third highest marks? Third highest marks, that's the value of 3. So in only 2 tests, he scored the value of 2. So as you can see, this is not that hard. This is not a hard set. If you follow along, the conditions, if you write everything clearly, and so there you can make this set in in 18 and 20 minutes possible. So that's all for this set, and we will be solving more sets in the upcoming future. So stick on to it. So see you soon.